Do you think we might live in a simulation? And if we do or don't, how hard would it be to build such a simulation where we're fully convinced we're in it?
Well, I don't think that these questions are necessarily unanswerable. I think I'd like to see more actual effort to ascertain, like, what is the underlying mechanism of the universe. And I don't think we're here for no reason at all. I think the world's a pretty cool place, and the fact that we can exist and the laws of physics, and especially the standard model of physics, and all of the parameters that lead to these atoms and life evolving in the presence of thermodynamic gradients. That's really cool. And I think it's a worthy field to study more about that holistically. I don't know. The question of are we living in a simulation ourselves always boils down to, well, if we are living in a simulation, what are they living in? Because at some point there has to be some base reality.
Mhm.
Or, one of the philosophical theories that was put forth seriously was that there is no physical reality. If you have a system of equations, such as the laws of physics, then all possible evolutions of dynamical systems under those equations kind of have a physical reality. So we just are kind of a manifestation of laws of math rather than needing an actual universe around us.
Mhm.
I don't know. I like dabbling in that philosophy. And as we get CAI becoming smarter and smarter, and we get closer and closer to really capturing the full laws of physics, these questions become quite a lot more compelling.
You start to think, if we're not living in a simulation, what are the things about this reality that are not simulatable? So, what are the big mysteries around us? It feels like the physics is simulatable. It feels like a lot of the incredible stuff that we talked about, while super nice, seems simulatable. But then there's the flame of consciousness, the feeling of it, whatever that is that lights up in our eyes as humans. Maybe that's not simulatable. Maybe that is the thing. Maybe that's a thread that connects to the explanation of the mechanism, as you said, of the universe. That's really important to understand, and we're completely clueless about that mechanism. I mean, a lot of the religious texts sneak up on what that mechanism is, but we're still mostly clueless. We only have these like leaps of faith in believing what that mechanism might be.
So, the whole idea of nested simulations, perhaps, yeah, given sufficiently advanced technology, is kind of mooted, such that if you wanted to simulate another reality, you're kind of just actually creating the reality. You're doing, quantum mechanical operations that would produce the same result anyway, and you're running them at full performance. So it's not really a nested simulation. It's just another thing that's happening in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be interesting, but I think it's ultimately a theological question, and because it's no longer cool to deal with theology as part of science, there's not been much work on that. You can't publish results on those topics in a respected physics journal, so I think that's kind of been set aside. But it's interesting to note that the laws of quantum mechanics themselves have a place for God or souls or whatever external source of input you might want to attach to such a thing, and that you know, that there's this idea of quantum wave function collapse, that when we, look at a quantum system evolving in perfect superposition of many possibilities and you go to observe it, you actually just see a specific possibility. In a multi-slit experiment, the light ultimately ends up being observed going through one slit or the other. And that's a place where there's this random number being injected into everything around us. Trillions of trillions of trillions of times per second in everything we're observing. And if you want to attach some external input, well, there's a place.
Yeah, and it could be seriously accessible through the rigors of science, but we just know so little there.
Yeah, it's funny. And in that area, we know nothing more than cavemen knew whatsoever. We know the laws of quantum mechanics, and we have computers that may be soon more advanced than we are. But we just don't have any answers to the fundamental questions about life, the universe, and everything.